before in the segment, you said something that it was a quiet weekend. I think it wasn't so quiet, and it had rich trolling value. Now, before we say more about this, you can visit our website, and Calvin Robinson has joined us for his Common Sense Crusade, and you can have 50% off Gold Tier with the code Crusade. Be sure to give it a watch. So the first episode was really good. Just come and watch Calvin. Now, there was Super Bowl, okay, and a lot of people in the US. Well,
it was just the grammar. There was Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it happened.
Yes. So,
and I'm just fascinated by the video. I knew there was a Black national anthem. I hadn't actually seen that it was this much cringe.
I didn't know there was a Black national anthem. What?
Well, yeah, there's a new Black national anthem now.
Well, I'll give you.
Let's tell you
all about it. But no. I want to invite you to just enjoy and indulge into what I'm going to show you. So basically, what happened is that, from my understanding, that every Super Bowl, which is a big event in the US, the singers sing the national anthem. I remember
it's all a bit witch doctory in the background, isn't it? It's like the Ooga Booga thing, isn't it?
Anyway, I remember.
I don't want to cause anyone offense, but
many years ago, I remember Steven Tyler was singing the national anthem of the US from Aerosmith, and he was doing his characteristic screeching that it didn't go down very well. But anyway, they are singing songs like the Star Spangled Banner, the America the Beautiful, and they have added, ever since 2019, the song Lift, I think 2020, Lift Every Voice and Sing, which many people say is the Black national anthem. Yeah. And I mean, I find this weird for one reason.
Is this real?
Yeah.
This is real life?
What do you mean?
They actually decided to bring up a Black national anthem for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because
I had no idea.
That's a real thing.
What is weird is because
so dumb.
I'll say this from an outsider's perspective. Okay, I don't see any reason to do this because there's plenty of reason for people from the Black community to say that, for instance, the American national anthem involves us.
Well, the entire,
so in singing it, we're not left outside.
The entire purpose of a national anthem is to bring people together under a single single banner. So by having two national anthems, by definition, you're two nations.
Yes.
Also, a more fundamental.
And also, Black.
Does anyone know what NFL is?
It's Black is not a nation. And they say the Black national anthem.
Not yet. No. But does anyone know what NFL is?
A National Football League.
So is that the rugby where they wear body armor?
I think rugby differs from football. Let me just say, what's the Black national anthem and why is it sang before the Super Bowl?
Right.
I just say here, lift every voice.
That's a good question.
Lift every voice and sing.
What the fuck are you talking about? What?
A song.
It's just stupid on the face of it.
So it was sung for the fourth year in a row on Sunday. So
really? It's the fourth year of the...
Yeah.
That's a very young nation.
Well, I suppose it goes back to the birth of St. George or the death of St. George, whatever.
Well, allow me to contextualize. In the beginning, there was the word.
In the beginning, there was a fentanyl hit.
Oh, come on.
So you see here, it's the inclusion of the Black national anthem along with the Star Spangled Banner and America the Beautiful has been met with both praise and criticism.
I thought America was over this.
But the tradition continues nonetheless. Anyway, they said that they did it in 2020 in the wake of racial and social justice protests in the U.S. following.
I was joking.
Floyd.
No, they actually did it because of the fentanyl.
I mean, it was kind of, do the math. It's 4 years, 3 years ago, because now it's the fourth in a row. So,
yeah, but I was making an insulting joke. I didn't realize it was literally that. All right.
Anyway,
fine. Carry on.
But the thing is, the NFL, which, Dan, you should know what it is. It's the National Football League.
Yeah, but it's just rugby with body armor because they're soft, isn't it?
I don't know if it's rugby. I think it isn't. I think it differs from rugby.
Maybe they have more breaks or something.
Isn't rugby with less armor?
Yeah, rugby is no armor and no breaks.
No, I think this does have.
Right.
So the NFL also announced it would commit $250 million over 10 years for social justice initiatives during this 2020 movement, targeting what it calls systemic racism and supporting the battle against the ongoing and historical injustices faced by African Americans. Right, let's move on. So Carl asks something. Who paid for the Christians washing feet ad? Do you know this?
I haven't seen this ad either.
Yeah, I'll just let it play here. It has some music, but just look at what's going on.
There's a series of people washing other people's feet.
Yeah.
And I guess there's going to be a theme.
Yeah.
God, it's not the music.
Is that because so many American cities now have human excrement all over the floor that it is
That's
necessary?
just San Francisco. Come on.
Listen
I
here.
see.
I mean, how does this work? She washes her feet, and then she steps on tarmac.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, and as Callum says, if that was in San Francisco, she's immediately going to.
What's going on there?
Just bros having
Look
a
at-
bath.
Yeah.
Okay, the cop
It
washed.
says Jesus didn't teach hate.
Yeah, he did.
He washed feet.
I think that's a
Well,
little bit
he
reductive,
gets
to be
it.
honest.
What?
I mean, you'd expect something like, I don't know if Quentin
Right.
Tarantino is behind this because he loves feet, but he's not. Let's say I was trying to answer to Carl, but apparently we do have an answer. He gets us foundation.
So if you're Christian, you should just what?
They say
Killing your
several
enemies means
things
they win.
that we reflected on our TV spot, Love Your Enemies. That commercial was all about hate and division. Ultimately, it was about pride. Pride says, I'm right and you're wrong. Every image depicted people in a state of prideful contention, whether it be politicians yelling in a debate or parents fighting at a youthful club. So anyway, they just mentioned this about love and unity. They say, as we explored creative ideas, we recall the story of Jesus washing his disciples' feet and realized this was the perfect example of how we should treat one another, even those people with whom we don't see eye to eye.
What are you
And wait.
talking about? Like his disciples and presumably his best friends and his followers. So that means you need to start washing the feet of people who hate you?
Okay, here. Well,
I have a couple of good mates, and I would not wash their feet.
No, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even do it to my own family. Like, just why would I
Yeah.
wash your feet? You can wash your feet. No,
I don't know, but I mean, Callum, I think you're looking at it from a very weird perspective. The
Probably.
whole idea is to love your enemies.
yeah, okay, Justin Trudeau. If you kill your enemies, they win.
Okay, kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness. Anyway,
Right.
they were talking about the story of Jesus washing feet. And I have a passage here. It says, foot washing requires one to lower themselves, even kneel before another person. While the posture seems subservient at first, it truly represents an act of kindness. This was always the way of Jesus, put others first and himself last. Now, I'm going to say an entirely philosophical point about here.
Well then,
When you have a morality like that, not everyone can preach
Yeah.
it. It's like they say with Saint Francis of Assisi, the last person to eat, the last person to have a pillow, the last person to have a bed. You cannot literally have a whole society of people who are going to eat last. Okay?
yes,
It
It's
is
just a
mathematically impossible.
It's mathematically impossible. It's
Yeah.
just like
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
people sitting in front of a table with food. Say, no,
Yes.
it's shameful if I had one first or something.
Mm.
It just doesn't work like that. So I think that this is a weird thing. Now, one thing, there were several people who mentioned something about Taylor Swift after Super Bowl. And we have some resident vibe checkers and orb ponderers whose expectations about Taylor Swift were completely frustrated. Let me give you Connor's tweet.
So have we now got to the point where Connor is talking about Taylor Swift even when he's not in the room?
Yes. He
Carry
did
on.
it in a segment when I was with Carl inside, and they were talking. Connor was practicing divination, but apparently, Connor, you need some work on divination because they were saying something that Taylor Swift was going to become a sort of conservative icon if people look at her hugging Travis Kelsey. And anyway, I'm not gonna say it, but Connor says this radioactive cringe may have just cost white America its second baby boom. Travis Kelsey could have proposed at the victory podium and set the marital aspirations of a million millennial cat ladies in waiting aflutter. He failed to embody. Sorry, I'm laughing. Yeah, this has trolling value. He failed to embody the captain of the high school football team vibe. Look at Swift's face. It's so
Is that what Taylor
She's going to
Swift
make a
looks
new
like?
song, but sorry, guys, I'm laughing because I listened to that in a segment and I couldn't.
I didn't know that that's what Taylor Swift looked like, because she's not exactly a wood.
I mean, come on, she's attractive, but the point is not that. The point is that
Right. What's this got to do with anything? I'm confused.
the point is that her dude, okay, is playing with her friend, okay, her boyfriend is the captain of the team that won the Super Bowl, and some people who practice divination thought that if you apply the mechanics, that was the best moment for this person, Travis Kelce, to propose, but he didn't propose. So all the maths, the Bene Gesserit maths to create the Muad'Dib from the tune has completely been destroyed. But she is having fun after the Super Bowl, and some fans are saying,
Is that her man, the ginger one?
No, I don't think this one, but he's somewhere there. She said the fact that Taylor Swift can be in a club in Vegas and be authentically herself without being nudged or center of attention. Like, y'all don't understand how huge this is for her. No one cares. Anyway, Britney was called.
What? Is this a series of things no one cares about?
Britney's weekend,
Some other shit no one cares about. Local woman is mental.
Yeah, she had the Christian message. He gets us.
Wait. Stay, slow down.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Is that AI generated?
Are you drunk? What is this segment?
No, I'm just showing you. I'm just showing you what happened.
It's going to tie it together at the end.
I'm just showing you what happened during the weekend. I mean, honestly, yeah.
So for those that are listening, we are watching Britney Spears embarrass herself. Is probably the best way that I can describe it.
Yeah, I hope people don't make a cringe comment about how she can turn into a conservative icon. Because I just...
One of these days.
I just don't see it. Yeah. Okay, anyway,
Stelios, you better be tying this up together.
Anyway.
Another thing no one gives a shit about and all that.
Let's go to Biden now, because I think he had a moment of epiphany. I think he has said something profoundly sensible. You'll understand why I say this.
All right, okay. Look,
let's listen to the president.
Super Bowl Sunday. If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. When buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. The bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging it just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. It's a ripoff. Some companies are trying to pull a fast one by shrinking the products little by little and hoping you won't notice. Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played for suckers. I'm calling on companies to put a stop to this. Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now.
Okay, is that AI generated?
I have no idea.
Sunday.
But
anything like
I want to
me,
say,
like to be
companies are
surrounded by a
shrinking the
snack or
product
two
sizes
while
and
watching
hoping
the
we
big
won't notice. What, like you printed $3 trillion and then hope we wouldn't
Yeah,
notice?
but let me just say, he really strikes a chord with me. I really hate it when they give me small portions. So every time I go out to have a burger and this portion size shrinks, I absolutely hate it. I want to take the plate and literally smash it on the wall.
But why did they do that? Because I agree. I am so sick of the Mars Duo. I just want a really big Mars bar.
Yeah.
And
then don't tell me one now, one later. Two right now.
But it's not the fault of the Mars Corporation. It's the fault of pricks like this who printed all the money so that the money was worthless. So the corporation's trying to find ways to trick you because they don't know how else to keep the sales up.
But the epiphany did not last long, and Biden made some crucial mistakes. He said he's a president for red states and green states. He forgot the name.
Wait, does he mean the green zone in Iraq? I don't
know, but let us play this here.
When we pushed all these programs, I said I'm going to be a president for everybody. We live in a When I said, we pushed all these programs, I said, I'm going to be a president for everybody, whether you live in a red state or a green state. When I said,
red state or green state.
All right, yeah.
Not blue states.
Also,
literally missed out his own bloody states.
And as far as politics is concerned, he mixed the president of Egypt with the president of Mexico, which was
easy mistake.
Easy to think that Mexico has a border with Israel.
Yeah, and something really weird happened. So his lawyer went out to dispel doubts about Biden, and he says that he doesn't have memory problems. That's not weird that a lawyer would go out and say it. To say
my client has never eaten his own feces, Your Honor. What?
People accuse you of having a bad memory. Well, I need to talk to my lawyer. Everything I say, anything I say will be used against me in the court of law. Any accusation. So,
of course, his lawyer's also 80 years old.
Yeah, and as you said, the Democrats are in a really rough state right now, and Hillary Clinton is yet another high-profile Democrat who has raised concerns over Biden's age. Now, let us move a bit forward to the other side of the U.S. Politics camp, into the Trump and Tucker campaign. Now, because here is where, we had the interview. The interview was one of the most fascinating things that took place lately. Yeah. It has rich things we can extract from it. But one of the ideas is that we need to think a bit about how the world works. And the first step to gain good understanding of how the world works is a Lotus subscription. With just £5 a month, you can gain access to all our premium content and watch our marathon discussion with Carl and Bo about Machiavelli. And we're discussing here his discourses on Livy and his principles about how to found and structure a lasting society. Now, what is interesting and why I say this is because I think that if you read discourses on Livy, you will see that there's a remarkable resemblance to how the US has built itself and continues. And there are several really interesting things that Machiavelli says about war and about externalizing internal conflict and things like that.
I remember his key lesson was don't have too many foreigners.
That was a bit of it. So yes. I think you're referring to the prince who says basically that you shouldn't rely on mercenaries, on foreign troops.
Yes.
You need to instill upon your population.
I mean, presumably if Machiavelli was around today, he would say don't rely on foreign Starbucks workers as well.
Anyway,
yes.
Yeah, so...
Not much of an army, is it?
No.
I think Machiavelli would definitely be against Starbucks. He would like Nero. He would definitely like Nero, and he would say that basically all cafeterias should become Nero, and that Pret and all the other chain shops, they need to bow down to Nero.
Yes.
Okay, so one interesting stuff that happened was that I think that there is immense trollish value coming from the interview.
Right.
And it's fun because, a lot of people were saying that, we just expose ourselves to completely different logic. And they were saying that Tucker he didn't challenge Putin as much. Some others have said that he made some interesting points. It wasn't a Western style, just hardball level conversation where Tucker was asking some questions. It was, for instance, I think Konstantin Kisin in Trigonometry said something that some people didn't mention, was that Tucker is being given sort of a rough deal by some. For instance, he asked Putin something about why don't you use this rhetoric that you use right now about Ukraine some time ago. And they say that, interestingly enough, Putin never went back to that question. So it's a really interesting...
Well, there is a superb 2-hour breakdown of the Tucker Carlson Putin interview, which is going up at 3 p.m. on Brokenomics.
And Brokenomics is something that you need to subscribe to watch.
Mm.
So also, again, with £5 a month, you can gain access to all our other premium content and watch Dan's breakdown of it. But what was interesting is that, a lot of people hanged from what Putin was saying about the justification for why Ukraine should stop fighting, let's say, and approach Russia. And the idea was that, the lands used to be ours.
Common ethnos, common people, common culture, that kind of thing. That was his core message.
Yes. But it was fun because, you had all sorts of people uploading stuff. Here we have the president of Mongolia alluding to the Mongolian Empire, and he just said after Putin's talk,
it didn't last very long.
Mongolian historic map. Don't worry, we're a peaceful and free nation. But there's one thing which I'm sure people from the UK will love, especially from England. What is this?
It's a map of how the world should be.
It's a good start. That's what it is.
Okay. So, what happened there in the 13 colonies? Anyway, I just don't want to talk about.
The even better map is the one which is countries that Britain has never invaded.
Well,
because you have to look really closely to see them.
Anyway, so I just want to say that this rhetoric leads us back to this. Also, here we have an image of the French Empire at some point in its biggest peak. We have also people like Michael Shermer saying an analogy for Putin: would Mexico be justified in invading California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas because it used to be theirs?
Quite frankly, at this point, everybody is justified in invading California.
Think about
it. I don't particularly care who does it, as long as somebody does it.
People's Republic of Laos.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's an argument there, because, Texas is flipping, purple, because of the mass Mexican immigration. What happens when it becomes majority?
Well, that's what I want to say, is because, there's a clash of perspectives from that interview. And at the end of the day, I think it's not particularly helpful to view this because at the end of the day, it's Machiavellian stuff. It's power, and your borders are exactly where you're able to defend them.
So we've only got 2 links left. I'm fascinated to see how you tie this back to Taylor Swift and Britney Spears.
Wait.
Right.
So what I wanted to say is that what is fun is that a lot of people have reacted in a sort of, you would say it's a bit memey. We have to say it. There are some people who said, okay, this is very reasonable. And say, Putin just implies that if we follow his rationale, the Americans shouldn't be necessarily a nation. He's sensible. That's a reaction.
Yep.
Or Putin's rationale implies that a significant chunk of the US was owned by Mexico and Mexico has entitlements to it. Seems reasonable. So that's what I want to say. And that's why I said it before, because I said that a lot of people, they have just rushed from one extreme to the next. And let me just say here, there was another trolley-ish value here with Trump talking about NATO allies. I think that's interesting to watch because
yes, this is annoying. This is the one where he says that if you don't pay your 2% of GDP into defense spending, then you shouldn't expect the US to come and rescue you.
It's not exactly that he says you shouldn't expect that. Let's hear him.
Of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. Of the presidents of a big country.
Yeah, so that's the... Let me just say, because again, there was lots of outrage about this statement. And I think some of it was justified. But he's referring to an old statement he made during a NATO meeting.
It's perfectly justifiable today, I'd say.
Well, I think basically, I think that in the context of a meeting, this is what, for instance, you would expect him to say, because NATO is not an altruistic organization. To a very large extent, it is a military defense organization, and you would expect it. But what I want to say is that I think that it is a mistake to say this publicly for one reason. I know some people may not like this, but to hear this. But the point is that when you are, I'm a big believer into the peace through strength narrative.
Yes.
And you need to show strength everywhere, not just to your enemies, but also.
I'll tell you what this is. This is like when you go on a date, right? And you order chips, and she doesn't order chips, and you say to her, "Look, if you want chips, order chips, because if you don't order chips, you're not having any of my chips." And then she doesn't order chips, and then and then she wants chips, doesn't she?
Yeah, but
That's what this is.
Yeah, but one thing to say here is that there is that 2% here is also, just to say, the 2% of military spending is in GDP is the target. It's not the idea of an obligation. And at the end of the day, because I need to contextualize what I'm saying, because I understand that it may be a bit unpopular to say. What I want to say is that when you're leading an alliance, the alliance, you need to avoid a second, let's say, Biden style withdrawal from Afghanistan. You need to show that you're able to hold this alliance, because at the end of the day, your alliance is a significant part of your power. So anyway, but I think that to a very large extent, he's just saying what he was saying all the time. It's not particularly weird. So I think that it is, this ends up my statement for the trollish week.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Epoch series, this episode on Edward I Part 2. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.